You know, anytime a cardinal becomes a pope, there's talk about the name he may choose. Well, Cardinal Prevost chose Leo, as we now know. But why do they change their names? Well, it's a tradition. And in the 20th century, popes began to use a name that might signal the direction of the papacy, of their own personal papacy. Pope Francis, for example, chose to name himself for St. Francis, who was humble and chose poverty over luxury. In the case of Pope Leo XIV, it's believed he may have valued the papacy of Pope Leo XIII. So we wanted to know, who was Leo XIII? So Pope Leo XIII was born in 1810 to a noble family in Italy. He was elevated to the papacy in 1878, and he was there for 25 years as pope until he died in 1903. And he's probably best known for his 1891 encyclical called Rerum Novarum. Now, an encyclical is basically a letter to the church or the public, and Rerum Novarum, translated from Latin, means of changed things, and then more contextually in this case, of revolutionary change. Now, what he wanted the church to think about was social issues, dealing with the working class and the poor. He even advocated in this encyclical for the formation of labor unions, because this would have been during one of the periods of the Industrial Revolution. Working conditions were not great during some of these times. And now it is basically considered the foundation for Catholic teaching on social issues, even here in the modern era.
Pope Leo XIII was an advocate for the poor, and especially for workers in late industrialization, industrial capitalism. He was concerned about how workers had been dislocated from their homes. He was concerned about the problem of urbanization and concerned that workers' rights be defended, and also the rights and responsibilities as well of capital, or the owners of the means of production.
Now, according to an historian at Gregorian University in Rome, the tradition of popes taking a different name actually began in the 11th century. The reasons then were more about continuity. And there's a really great article on our website, NBCChicago.com, that talks all about the specifics and details about how the name changes the reasons for the name changes changed over the years. So it's a really interesting take.
And we know that they changed their names, and now we know why.
We know part of the reason why. For more, go to NBCChicago.com.
That was great. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.